Hey fans and subscribers, this is your host Joe on the Gaming Friends site channel, and in this video I am going to be looking at the game Destiny 2 for another video in the segment Save Battery Best Settings. And I'm doing things a little differently for my Save Battery Best Settings videos. I am going to be looking at multiple devices at the same time. And with the approach that I am taking to save battery and best settings with the Radeon Chill technology, we can leverage that if we are using a Windows gaming handheld and an AMD Radeon Adrenalin, specifically an AMD driver. We are going to be looking at 4 devices in total. The first 2 devices are going to be the devices with the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme. That's going to be our Lenovo Legion Go and our ASUS ROG Ally 2023. The remaining 2 devices are going to be using the AMD Ryzen 7840U, but you could apply these settings to the devices with the AMD Ryzen 8840U because they are both using the 780M graphics component across those APUs. But those 2 devices in this video are going to be the Ayaneo2S as well as the OneXPlayer OneXFly. We are also going to be looking at the console settings for each respective device, and we are going to be looking at the in-game settings as well for Destiny. So in those 3 areas, we are going to be looking at what settings that we can tweak and tune to get the most battery life out of these devices that we can. So with introductions out of the way, let's get started with this video. All right, I have my Lenovo Legion Go in front of me, and for the purposes of this video, I am going to use my Lenovo Legion Go to show the AMD Adrenalin settings that I am going to set for Destiny 2 just because I have a bigger display to work with for you. So on the desktop, I'm just going to hold down my finger. I am going to select the AMD Software Adrenalin Edition. And once I am in there, I am going to go to Gaming. And once I am in Gaming, I am going to select Destiny 2 because that is the game that we are going to work with. And what I'm looking at right now are the settings specific to Destiny 2. And the setting that I am going to target is the Radeon Chill setting. And you will need to enable this. Now, when you do enable it, you will see a prompt. For example, if you have AMD Fluid Motion Frames enabled, Radeon Anti-Lag enabled, and Radeon Boost enabled as enabling Radeon Chill, it's an exclusive technology to work by itself. So in effect, AFMF, Radeon Anti-Lag, and Radeon Boost will be disabled. So that is why you see those features disabled. The game experience is going to change to custom. So I've set my minimum FPS and maximum FPS to 30 and 40 respectively. I have disabled the AMD FreeSync. Radeon image sharpening is disabled, and I have not adjusted any of the advanced settings. So that is simply what needs to be done. Okay, if you are following along with this video, Save Battery Best Settings, and using your Lenovo Legion Go to play Destiny 2, we want to access the quick access menu, and we want to select the performance area within the quick access menu for the Legion Go console, and we want to have power saving selected for the overall performance mode. We want to use the direction pad. We want to go to our TDP setting, and we want to set this to 13 watts. That is what I am using across my devices and will show in this video. And we want then to go down to our OS power mode, and we want to set this to efficiency. And then also for the general settings, we are not going to set the resolution to something different within the quick access menu here. I will do that within the game, but we want to set our refresh rate to 60 Hertz because that is going to be a measure for us to save some battery life. All right, and that is going to wrap it up here for the Lenovo Legion Go. All right, I have my Ayaneo2S here, and I'm going to hold down the Ayaneo button, and I'm going to go into ASpace. I am then going to select the hamburger menu here, or hamburger button, and then go to Settings, and then I'm going to select Performance. Now, with my Ayaneo2S, I am working with a 3A performance profile just for this game, but You can name this whatever you would like. We have the FPS limit here set to unlimited. Again, the Radeon Chill technology is going to be dominant here in what it's doing. So despite what we set that FPS limit, our Radeon Chill technology is going to have that frame rate controlled within 30 to 40. But specifically, the settings that I want to adjust in here are the TDP limit. We're going to be working with 13 watts across the devices in this video. TDP boost is disabled. Our power policy is going to be set to saving. Our CPU clock and GPU clock are going to be set to auto, as we're going to allow the Radeon Chill technology to control the clocks through the AMD Adrenalin driver. Our CPU turbo is going to be disabled. And that is simply all that needs to be done with the Ayaneo2S. All right, I have my ROG Ally 2023 here, and what I want to set on this for the game is I want to access the quick access menu for the command center, and I want to use a manual operating mode. I want the SPL to be set at 13 TDP, and then I want the SPPT and FPPT to be set at 15. That is the lowest. And other settings are going to be, now for the resolution, you could set it in here if you want to 720p, or you can do this in game and you will see that the resolution info will change here in the command center. So that is completely up to you, but I will show that in the video that I changed the resolution. And I have the refresh rate set at 60 Hertz as well. We're not going to be using the 120 Hertz. So to take an additional measure here to save battery, I have the CPU boost disabled. All right, and that is what we are going to set here on the ASUS ROG Ally. All right, I have my OneXPlayer here, and I am going to access the quick menu for the OneXPlayer X console. For performance, I'm going to set the wattage, the TDP specifically at 13 watt. This is what I'm going to be using across all of my devices in the video. And then I am going to have turbo disabled as well. The resolution I am going to set within the game, but you can do that here if you would like. And I actually am going to be using the 810, the 1440 by 810 resolution. So that is completely up to you. Now on the OneXPlayer X1, it is set by default to 120 Hertz, and I attempted to use actually CRU to create a profile for the display to use 60 Hertz, and I was unsuccessful in being able to do that. So unfortunately, I am locked into using the 120 Hertz and not able to save some battery and going from 120 Hertz to 60 Hertz. But you can attempt to do that if you would like with the CRU program. And just as a quick point here for anyone that is interested in looking further into setting 60 Hertz on the OneXPlayer OneXFly, the CRU program that I was referring to is the custom resolution utility. And I can leave a link for this in the description if you are further interested in looking at this to see if you can set that 60 Hertz on your display. But I was unfortunate and not able to set that for myself. All right, and that's going to wrap it up here for what we are doing with the OneXPlayer OneXFly. All right, I'm back here on my Lenovo Legion Go, and I'm just using my Lenovo Legion Go for demonstrating the settings within Destiny 2 in-game that you can set, but you can do this, of course, across all of your devices, but I just wanted to leverage the larger screen on my Lenovo Legion Go. So I am in the video settings for Destiny 2. My window mode I have set at full screen. Now for the resolution, I have actually used two different resolutions across the devices that I have been using to play this game. On the Lenovo Legion Go and the Ayaneo2S, I have the 800p resolution set. On the OneXPlayer OneXFly, I am using the resolution that is the 810 because it's slightly wider. You're going to have that 810p resolution. And then on the ROG Ally 2023, I'm using the 720p resolution. Moving down our graphics quality, this is going to be set to the default low. And just selecting the graphics quality here, setting it to low, and that is all you need to do. So that is all that you need to do for the in-game settings within Destiny 2 for save battery, best settings. In this part of the video, I'm going to talk about the settings I adjusted, the gaming devices themselves using the settings, and the Radeon Chill technology. This part of the video also provides you opportunity to see me use my gaming handhelds with these settings in playing Destiny 2. The goal here is to decrease clock speeds to as minimal as possible while maintaining a lower frame target range, but one that is playable with the game. I have found that the AMD Radeon Chill technology allows for me to do just that with the 30 to 40 frame target range. Typically, users will have this range be wider in scope, say to cover the variable refresh rate range of a display. In my case, I am more interested in keeping a narrow frame target range that is playable for Destiny 2 while saving battery. We can apply the Radeon Chill technology across my gaming handhelds because they are using an AMD APU that is compatible with the Radeon Chill technology and are using Windows, which allows me to have installed AMD Adrenalin for accessing the area where I can enable this technology. You will observe as well in the gameplay shown that when stationary, the frame rate would stay close to or remain at 30 frames, and while during motion, we would see a climb to closer to 40 frames. It is integral, though, that we use a resolution and TDP setting agreeable with this range, as for example, having a 900p resolution actually would result in seeing intense motion drop to a frame rate of the upper 20s instead of climb closer to 40. At least this was the case for my testing done. Having the TDP set too low would cause also intense motion, even with a lower resolution, to have the game render in the upper 20s instead of the set range. Radeon Chill technology enabled alone is not the only setting here that is important, which is why during my testing and in the video I take the time to show what else I have set to support that range using Radeon Chill technology and AMD Adrenalin. Another advantage of the Radeon Chill technology is temperatures. This low fan profile was observed across my 4 devices, at least from noticing a difference not hearing a higher fan profile. AMD states that the Radeon Chill technology is not a replacement for frame rate target control, or FRTC. However, we did see, based on the range specified, that the Radeon Chill technology did indeed maintain the preferred frame rate. Additional usage of the Radeon Chill technology at a wider range and a higher number range may demonstrate the validity of AMD's claim. Let me detail a moment about what we adjusted on the ASUS ROG Ally. I mentioned that in the manual operating mode that the SPPT and FPPT have a minimum setting at 15 watts, while the SPL I decreased to 13 watts, which serves as our intended main TDP setting. SPL represents the sustained power limit. SPPT is the slow package power tracking limit, and the FPPT is the fast package power tracking limit. In brief, the distinction between the SPPT and the FPPT is that the device will increase the TDP to either one, that is the SPPT or the FPPT, for either up to approximately 5 seconds with FPPT or a minute or more, but no more than 3 minutes at least from what I have observed with SPPT. So what does this mean exactly? Well, you will see in my gameplay on the ROG Ally that the APU wattage increased to 15 at times. The reason being is that yes, a set TDP is the average wattage used by the APU, which can include an amount higher and lower as long as an average is maintained. However, importantly here, our setting to FPPT and SPPT 2 watts higher gives permission to the device to push 15 watts when it is determined as needed. Also, in relevance to the ROG Ally, I disabled AMD FreeSync across all devices through AMD Adrenalin. However, this applies only to the ROG Ally, as it is my only handheld out of the 4 that supports VRR with the display. There is more detail I can go into here, but let me not be tangential. As I said initially, I would detail the ROG Ally only for a moment, right? Moving along here, on 2 of my devices, I was using MSI Afterburner to leverage HW Info and Riva Tuner for an overlay, so to capture some metrics, and the overlay unfortunately was fair weather as far as whether it would show on my video recording. I focused instead on what I was able to gather from the Ayaneo2S and the ASUS ROG Ally, and that works out nicely because each of them have different APUs. I gathered on the Ayaneo2S that the battery draw stayed within 20 and 22 watts. The APU wattage, though, stayed within 9 and 13. I never saw the number reach 15 like on the ROG Ally, which understandably was occurring because of what we set our SPPT and FPPT to. Lastly, in relevance to refresh rate, 3 of my devices support a higher than 60 Hz refresh rate. The Ayaneo2S, I did not look to change what may have been set as a higher refresh rate because its display only supports 60 Hz and no higher. Okay, so now in the video, we're coming to the video's conclusion, but don't end the video just yet. What I want to know from you in the comments is, what settings are you using on these devices to play Destiny 2? Are you using these settings? Are you using Radeon Chill and that specific technology? And if so, are you enjoying the experience with it? What else are you doing to save battery on your handheld gaming device? So I'm looking forward to reading what you have to say. Now that we have reached the conclusion of this video, let me share with you some important channel content you don't want to miss. Gaming for Insight is a member and one of the founders of the Handhelds United Discord server and YouTube channel. You can find me and other channels you want to know about on this server. So join us on Discord, see the invite to the server in the video description. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to these other channels for additional content on gaming, handheld devices, and more. Those are Gamers Generation, your friendly AI with a sense of witty humor that uploads informative reviews, tutorials, and more. OKS Gamer. You can find the latest and more than OKS reviews on gaming handhelds and benchmarks, as well as videos on performance with certain drivers. CPPC Tech. Known for his awesome mod on the ROG Ally, this channel has reviews and more on gaming handhelds and accessories. Windeck Tech. Find candid and informative videos on gaming and the tech space with gaming handhelds and more. Handheld Hardware, formerly known as Project SBC, get the latest perspective from an astute programmer, designer, and reviewer on gaming devices. Now, wouldn't it be neat if all of these channels, including mine, all got together in one place for, say, a podcast to share our knowledge on everything handheld gaming? Well, as a matter of fact, we do. Subscribe to the Handheld United YouTube channel and don't miss our live weekly podcast that I host on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join in the live chat where you can comment on what we discuss and partake in our trivia nights. Links to the YouTube channels mentioned are in the description of this video. So with that, in the words of Commander Shepard from Mass Effect, I should go.